I would like to talk to you about cranial nerves. Now that might sound far out, but you have 12 of them. They're at the base of your brainstem, and they have to do with how you perceive your environment, how you handle stress, how you rest and digest, and how you see things. So we want to make sure that those are 100% functioning. And that's why we check those in the office at pretty much every visit, because we know if that's upset, then that's going to cause a chain reaction of events down the body. For instance, your tongue, that has 5 different cranial nerves that go into moving it, to sensing the taste, and then 5 different tastes that you have. But a really big misdiagnosis is mistaking ADD or ADHD for a convergent divergent problem. Now, I just wonder how many kids have been misdiagnosed with that label, and all that might be is that their eyes are having trouble accommodating to their surroundings, which then piles on layers of stress in their life. But if we can correct that one thing, get that brain functioning and balanced with their vision, just how they see their finger here and how they look off into the distance and back and forth. Just imagine how you're reading a book here and you have to look up at the chalkboard. All those different environmental stressors for them should just be a normal stimulus. But if that is disconnected, their body's perceiving it as a stress. And then if that's repeated over and over, it's just going to get overwhelmed, and they're going to want to sit still. They're going to want to throw a tantrum, and they're just going to want to outburst because their body is just so overwhelmed with all the inputs. So that's why we like to check, especially with kids, we like to check on the cranial nerves that have to do with their vision. We like to check on the vagus nerve, which is how you rest and digest, how you respond to different environmental factors. This is a beautiful thing in handling trauma. The vagus nerve gets its name because it starts at your brain, but it wanders all the way down into your organs, and it has a really vested interest in those organs, especially your gut and your heart. So that's why we put so much emphasis on that, and you might have quite a few handouts from us in regards to the vagus nerve. So a lot of times we see that if a kid is depressed or struggling with anxiety, it likely stems from a brain imbalance, especially at their brainstem. So a few of the things that we check in on are the cranial nerves. We look at how they're perceiving their environment through their sensory nerves, which is taste, touch, smell, how you perceive your environment. It goes on and on. That's about 80% of how we relate and live. The other 20 is a motor experience, which is another thing we check on, but the sensory experience kind of overrides the motor. So if those are some of the things that you've experienced or your kid has experienced, it could be many different things, but depression, anxiety, trouble, food sensitivities, trouble digesting food, like we said, the convergent, divergent. Just name the symptom is probably related to one of these things. So if you struggle with any of that, we would love to check in on you, see if you're a candidate for a chiropractic adjustment or a cranial nerve reset. We're all about bringing the nervous system into balance so that you can be a self-sustaining human being moving forward. But thank you.